40. 3 right short, 40.
I do want to make a slight declaration at the beginning of this video. I reviewed EA's WRC over on a list as part of a larger video on the state of rally games, full stop. I really wanted to look at this on console and a lot of the comments prompted me to, so here it is. What was the declaration? It's the last time I do a hot take on a game on my PC without going to the console. First, I had this with Lords of the Fallen.
Jump, 30. Slight left of the crest.
Very first thing I want to get to is the pad and the haptics and the lack of annoying noises coming out of it. The vibration is really intuitive. It does help with the wheels getting near the edge of track. The feedback is pretty good. So top marks on that one. Definitely well optimized for that PlayStation 5 pad. Let's get to the large elephant in the room and talk about the game's performance. Now, WRC Generations has an option to go to 2K and a peg 60 frames per second. This is billed as a dynamic resolution and a targeted 60. Now, I am about done with these sorts of creators. Check this guy out. And I've been here before with Bloodborne, and these types just put out videos saying that it's 60 frames and 4K, and nothing's done about it. And they just rake in the subs and watch time. 129,000 subscribers. 7 years he's been BSing people. It's so bad, and no one pulls them up. You go to the comments and people are like, what track is this? I'm like, why has everyone let these people get away with this crap? It is not 60 frames per second. And YouTube and the people that run the platform, they should put in a community notes system on YouTube with YouTube titles. I cannot wait for that to start. It's not so much the existence of the video, it's YouTube's reward that it gives the creators. All of this watch time and priority, that's at the top of the search. A misleading video. Smaller creators are getting shat on a daily basis with this platform at the moment, and it's getting ridiculous.
30. 2 right, opens, into right of the crest.
Yeah, so what does it run at, Coop? Alright, so it's dipping between 60 and 50. I went onto Digital Foundry to look at this on launch, and it was performing a lot worse back then. It has been patched a bit. I don't think this move to Unreal 4 has gone very smoothly for them. It's the screen tear that blows my mind. I caught it doing it 2 or 3 times in a 5 or 6 hour play session, so it's not too frequent, but it's these damn frame rates, particularly on replays, which we'll get to. They are just dipping in the town sometimes. It isn't game breaking, it's just that I genuinely thought my PC was performing terribly all the time, which it was, but it turns out some of it was actually baked in to this game's performance. What is immediately noticeable though, and an improvement on Generations, and I saw a lot of this on PC but didn't talk about it too much, is the dust mechanics and the persistent dust that stays on track and a bit of that gravel dissipation. It really is high level compared to the previous games, but as you saw at the start of that video, the snow for me feels a little bit stagnant, but loads of this powder, gravel, it's amazing, and watching the replays, it gives it that added zest. Talking of zest, I was also really mean about its car roster when I first looked at it. I didn't really have time to go into all of those categories. I was just like, oh my god, what's going on here? You know, where's the retro stuff? Where's the modern stuff? I was angry at those only 3 high-end peak cars that you have on that top tab, the Hyundai, the Puma, and that Yaris. But this one actually caters for the retro crowd so well. We're going to thrash some awesome, iconic cars around now. Combined with this persistent dust mechanic, i.e. when you go around a corner and get to see where you've been on track and it's still there in engine, that's pretty amazing.
And turn 1 right, widens, 40.
I just can't help but still get angry about those uploaders that lie on the game spec in the title. I mean, it wouldn't be so bad. You know, at least the Skibbity Toilet people, right, they have to sit there and edit a head coming out of a urinal for 8 hours. That is testament to the money they earn. You know, they put some effort in. Animating heads coming out of toilets, not my thing, but each to their own. But these guys just hit their share play button and upload, that's it, done, and then type out a little lie as the title. Yeah, I think your days are numbered. Can you see what I'm talking about here with that persistent dust cloud? It really is amazing. The handling of this car, the noise of it, It's that Ford RS, and combined with that really healthy haptic feedback on the pad, I felt Codemasters for a bit here. I felt that old school vibe with them.
Right of a crest, 100. Long crest, 120.
Some people in the main video fed back that the wheel and pedal are a bit dodgy with WRC EA, it's in the game, but Generations is a bit more healthier. Again, that is something I can't comment on, and I would love your feedback. If you're currently playing this game via a PS5 on the wheel and pedal, how is it up against Generations? Or how is it up against Dirt Rally 2.0? We're not going to have that chat today, but I want to hit home the point. This is not a terrible feeling rally game at all, and it does totally feel 9th gen. The sound as well, the engine recordings, everything's raw AF, and the replays are not terrible. We haven't had that discussion about the frame rates yet. Let's look at some of those top end cars, because pushing that engine requires high speeds and sharp turns, and we're certainly going to see a little bit of that with these cars. Now, I wanted to test the wet look within the game. I didn't look at it on PC because it would have blown up the hard drive. These track introduction screens, just don't show them, Codemaster. Don't put them up if they're going to have stuff appearing and disappearing in even before you've touched the accelerator.
6 right, 50, slide left, tightens 3.
A couple of shocking revelations with this. There isn't any actual rain falling down within engine, okay? But you have got some moisture around the back wheels, front wheels, all of that. This becomes more noticeable in the replays. But there just isn't any movement on the asphalt with that top level of water. There should be like a dry patch immediately after the wheel, are you with me? Or something to indicate that the car has moved over a wet surface. And all we really have is a bit of spray.
3 right, opens, 40, 4 left.
Also, just whilst we're on the subject of tracks and selection, it is just wet or dry. There's no like starting to rain or Welsh rain. It's just full on this or bone dry midday. And I think that might be something I've missed maybe, along with that day and night thing, because I was doing like challenge modes over on the PC at night with the Subaru in Wales, and that also reminds me there's a different track selection over on console. It constantly says, do you want to buy an extra content pack? You've got a handful of iconic locations. There's no Spain in here. This is not Dirt Point 2.0, which probably had the most tracks of all of these games, I think. I do like the precision of these modern cars. The hybrid thing I've learnt to live with.
110.
Here are some of those aforementioned wet look replays, and they're okay. The frames don't drop hugely within this particular course. Actually, I think it's to do with a lot of buildings and the pedestrians. But as you can see at the back of that car, we don't really see any evidence that it's moving over moisture. Obviously, I'm looking too much into this because I'm so obsessed with replays, and the move to a new engine was making me think, wow, you know, we might have ourselves an excellent looking 9th generation rally game, and we've got 85% of that. Talking of Generations, let's have a look at its wet look, because the more I go back to this game and the more comments come in on that big list video, the more I'm realising that it isn't a weak rally game and maybe got a little bit overlooked.
And right 4 narrows, opens long. To left 6.
This is Generations running in the background here, and I think I've also managed to put the wet look on asphalt courses when it comes to mud and a lot of the different desert sections or off-road areas of the courses. It might look a little bit more healthy, but we have actual reflections here. We have actual surface water. I think this game's 2021. I am also reviewing this game from a time trialsman's perspective. Why am I doing that? Because I can access all the cars and tracks. Don't get me wrong, the campaigns are okay. This one's a bit pushy, a bit linear. You don't really get to cherry pick a lot of that calendar. My point being, you get a good vertical slice of just about everything. In WRC EA, this is still Generations on screen, by the way, you get to go into a time trial tab that is a one-way ticket. At the end, you have to either, if you want to switch your car out at the end, you have to come all the way back to the main menu. Dirt 2.0 did it. It's the most backward thing ever. In Generations, it's not actually called time trials, it's called quick race. I couldn't see a time trials tab to my knowledge, and we're going to get to that infamous menu screen in a second. In quick race, you can switch out your car and class, prior to going into racing around a singular track. So it just means that you can change the class. It's just so much easier and user friendly, particularly if you want to set times in different classes. And just lastly on generations and that menu, as I mentioned before, 3 clicks down, it's like a secret goddamn room, you have the split screen. Embarrassingly, I did not see this for the first review on the big list. So that's going to go out as a standalone. A Generations split screen rally video will be the next piece of content in this direction. The other reason I live the life of a time trialsman is that I love a good ghost car, and some of you might remember the bright yellow ghost car in WRC 10. It was a little bit off-putting, and I do like the effort that's gone into this semi-translucent Shadow Realm alternate attempt. Shaving times off my own times, shaving times off my own previously set times, just shaving times, shaving to this sentence took me so long. It's one of the few victories I have left in this world.
4 right, 40, 3 left sharp.
Okay, it's time to look and listen to some absolute classics. Do you remember this BMW? When BMWs look good. Don't even get me started on that engine chorus.
2, 1, go. 50, 4 left sharp, into 3, 4 right, and 6 left, 100.
Can't drive it. It's not about driving it. For me, this is about getting around that course without clattering the car up too bad so it still looks okay in the latter half of the replays. And I was having this chat with somebody the other day. One of the joys of these rally games is that you get to look at these amazingly gorgeous looking nostalgic vehicles in a relatively new engine, and the tyres are bouncing around, the suspension's all working, they almost look like they're actually travelling again. I get to sort of relive a load of amazing visuals that you would only really see in like grainy 80s and 70s TV footage. It's amazing stuff for me.
6 left, 30, slight right, 50.
And that obviously trickles through to the engine noises and gear change sounds. It's also opposite to the newer hybrid cars. It's a real sweet spot for me with these games, and it's important that they have a good roster. And I completely skimped on praising how decent the roster is on that brand new EA WRC. I'd be well interested to hear from wheel and pedal users. If doing a really good lap or setting a top time on a leaderboard, do you actually sit and then watch that replay, or do you just get on with more racing? I'm pretty sure I'm just not the only one that savours this stuff. Going from a car that's made in the 80s to something that's brand new on the same course also offers up all of that amazing development within technology on the ABS and the suspension, and you can crunch down your brake time and you can just see how differently everything behaves with a car that's easier to control. It's just a damn shame you have to go back 6 screens to do it.
Turn square left, 100.
The more I think about Generations and the more I read in the comments of that previous video and discovering its secret split screen mode, I'm thinking this could be the stronger game. I need to look at that aforementioned mode and put all of that content together, so you'll be hearing from me shortly about how strong that mode actually is. I also, before you type it in the comments, need to be looking at Richard Burns' Rally. I'm hearing such amazing things about that game, so that may be another standalone stop for a video. My name was of course Couch Coop. What's the title of this video going to be? WRC EA, it's in the game, 4K 60 frames per second. I'll see you down there.